So welcome guys, and today we are going to start the chapter number 3 of project management, which is saying that project environment and identification of a project. As we have seen in our chapter number 1 and 2, some basic concept like what is the meaning of project, what is the meaning of project management, what are the different examples of projects, why projects are important or why projects are initiated, what are the different constraints of a project, what is the characteristics of a project, why projects are failed, what is the project management process group. These all things we have seen in till chapter 1 and 2. If you have missed those classes, please go back and see the videos of chapter number 1 and 2. Then you come to the chapter number 3, and this chapter is all about project environment, means what are the things which affect project and what are the things which is under the control of the project managers or the organization, or what are the things which is not under the control of project managers. So what are the strategy for everything that is comes under the project environment. And identification of a project means how we identify a project, whether in terms of feasibility, whether in terms of market trend, whether in terms of core competency, how we are going to identify a project. This is the basic purpose, or this is the basic objective of this particular chapter. So let us start with the project environment. Basically, whenever the term environment comes to us, you should have the very clear picture that anything which impact project directly or indirectly in a positive way or in a negative way, they all known as a project environment. We can also say all the stakeholders are project environment. What does it mean is, if you divide the project environment, we can divide the project environment in two parts. One is internal, which is the part of the organization, project organization, the organization which is handling the project, the organization we have which is doing the project. So all the things, whether it is the employee of the organization, whether it is the project manager, whether it is the different department of the organization, whether it is the policy of the organization, whether it is the management issue of the organization, all these things are the internal environment of project. So being a project manager, being a part of the organization, we can easily control these environment. We can increase, decrease, change, modify internal environment as per the requirement of the project. When we go further, we have the external environment. External environment, if you remember in your marketing classes, external environment is macro, micro. In macro, like customers are there, like suppliers are there, competitors are there. So we have to modify ourselves as per the external environment. And if you go further, the bigger external environment, which is known as the macro environment, they are the political, economical, social, demographical, cultural. So these things are the impact on every project. So being the nature of the project, we have to take care of this environment. Like all projects are planned and implemented in a social economy. That is true. We cannot start a project in a isolated area. We have to deal with the society. We have to deal with the people in the society. We have to deal with the government of the society. We have to deal with the culture of the society. We have to deal with our people. We have to deal with the client of the. So these all things, they all are the stakeholder, and these all things has to be considered while we are doing a project, and that is the basic concern for the project environment. Like culture and social environment is that how a project affect the people and how they affect the project. In both the cases, like if the project is going to change their way of living, change their economic condition, change their demographic condition, and if there is some problem, if the project is going to touch the sensitive issue like religious issue, like regional issue, like ethnic group issues, these things also will be then in this case project may face some real problem. And another factors like international and political environment, like how the condition of the politics in the country, whether the politics is in the favor of the project, like government is in the favor of the project which has to be run, or government is not supportive of the project, whether the project is international or national, whether government is providing facilities, security to the projects or not. Like these type of things also impact the project. If you see here by this picture, you can see under this circle all the things of the project is internal environment, and they can easily manageable by the project manager or parent organization, like the organization boss, top management, project staff, internal user, colleague, bosses. These all things are the internal environment, and they are controllable. If you go outside the project or outside the organization, they all are the external environment, like the government. What is the government policy? What is their a rule and regulation for that particular environment, that particular business, that particular project? If it is the international, what is the rule? What is the support from the government? External user, what is our client demand is? What is their change in the demand? Whether they accept the project, what we are going to make it. Supplier, whether they are making the supply on time, whether they are providing the raw materials on time at the right cost. Subcontractor. So these all are the external factors. So I told you we have the two main project environment. One is internal, one is external. Internal are controllable factors which a project, according to the project, we can modify, we can change, we can alter those internal factors or internal environment. External environment not under the control of a project manager, not under the control of an organization, but according to that external environment, we can have to take the path, or we have to take the strategy. We have to make a path or make a strategy according to that one. If government has made some rule, we have to follow that one. So this is the way we have to handle the project environment. Now we come to the project environment. Under project environment, a stakeholder. You see, if there is a question like this, what do you think that a stakeholder is internal or external, or shareholder is internal or external? As you know, shareholder is the owner of the company. Whether the ownership is 1 share or a 1% share or the 10% share, whatever it is, the shareholder is a owner of the company. So they are the internal. And a stakeholder is anyone who has the interest in the share directly or indirectly. Interest in the project directly or indirectly. They are involved in the project directly or indirectly. So you may say all the environmental factors are the stakeholder, and the actual owner of the project is a shareholder. So a stakeholder, as a stakeholder name, you cannot put anywhere, not in the internal, not in the external. Under the stakeholder, some are internal, some are external. Like stakeholder are the ones who have the share or an interest in an enterprise. Shares, like a shareholder. So shareholder is also a stakeholder. A stakeholder in a company may include shareholder, director, management, supplier, government, employee, customer, and the community. That's why I'm saying anyone who is directly or indirectly related with the project. Project stakeholder are individual or organization that are actively involved in the project or whose interest may be affected as a result of project execution. So some stakeholders are very much near to the project and some are far. But anyhow, let us see some major stakeholders who are there into a project and who are involved directly into a project, and their impact is huge on that particular project. Like key stakeholder, let us discuss about the 6 key stakeholders. As you know, as we have discussed in our first chapter about the project manager, you know, the project manager, a person who is responsible for managing the project. So one of the key stakeholder is project manager. He is the captain of a ship. He is going to take the responsibility of the failure and success of the project. He is the person who has been selected at the initiative stage itself, and he is taking the responsibility of selecting the other people. He is managing the people. He is managing the project. So project manager is one of the key stakeholder. Customer, end user. Customer means for whom we are making a project. On the demand of a person, on a demand of a company, on the demand of an organization, on the demand of a government, or on the demand of the internal client like a UN, UNDP, WTO, WHO, they may be our customer. So the person or organization that will use the project product. These may be the multiple layer of customers. Means first we are giving to our customer the project, then that will be sell further, or that can be used by other also. The third key stakeholder, performing organization, means the parent company which is making the project. So under which company we are making a project, they are performing organization. For whom we are making a project, they are the customer. Then project team member. Project team member, those people who are directly involved into the project, those who are performing the project, those who are executing the project work, that they are called as the project team member. They have been selected from a project manager. It may be some internal employee of the organization, parent organization, or it may be some contractual employee from the outside. So project team members are those all people who is directly performing the task of a project. It includes a member who are directly involved in the project activities, and they may be from the parent organization directly, or on the basis of contractual, or the mix of that one. A sponsor, the person or group that provide the financial resources in cash or kind for the project. Here sometimes students are confused about, if clients are there, then what is the difference between the clients and a sponsor? Basically, see, every time client is not going to give you the complete money. Maybe they will going to give you the 10% advance or 20% advance. So what about the rest 80% of the amount? Who is going to pay that one? So our sponsor may be our own company. Suppose company doesn't have the money, so company is going to take from a loan from a bank. So loan can be a sponsor. Sometimes government can be a sponsor. Government can be a sponsor for the project to increase the wealth of the economy, or economy wealth of the country. Or sometimes some wealthy people, or sometimes some other people like the angel investor, or like some other people, mutual fund investor, or like NBFC, non-banking financial corporation. So they are investing in our project for the sake of getting the interest, or for the sake of getting the profit from the project. So that's why those all from where we are getting the fund for our running of our project, they are called as the sponsor. It may be our client, or it may be our parent company, it may be bank, it may be some NBFC, it may be some other individual. Influencer. See, influencer is also one of the key stakeholders. These people or group, they are not directly related to the project products, or they may not be the directly of that organization people, but they have the influence of the society. Like I will say you, some political influence and some political leader. If he has some hesitation that this project is not going to start in my area, so that will be influence the project, maybe in the positive way or in negative way. Sometimes some threat is coming from some organization or some group of the people, so that will also influence the project. Sometimes there some senior person, they are going to give you a very good advice, and according to that advice you are going to change your project in a positive way. That is also the influencer. So whatever the things or people or situation will influence your project in a positive or negative direction comes under the influencer. So these are some key stakeholders. There are many key stakeholders, like the bank also there, government is also, then the what you called as the suppliers are also, but these are some key stakeholders. Like we have seen 6: project manager, customer, performing organization, project team member, sponsor, influencer. Next we are moving to the classification of a project. Actually, there is no fixed classification. If we are saying there is no fixed classification, it's depend upon the basis. Like what type of, on what basis we are going to classify the project. Like on the basis of sector. Remember one thing, whenever a country GDP is decided, on what 3 sectors country GDP is decided: primary, secondary and tertiary. Primary sector is agriculture sector, secondary is manufacturing sector, and tertiary is service sector. So on the basis of sector, if you are dividing the project, basically 3 sectors are there. Even you see in the example like industrial product, it may comes under the manufacturing sector. Agriculture products, it is the primary sector. Educational project, it is the tertiary sector. Service, health project, again tertiary sector. So if we are going to divide on the basis of sector, we have the primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. On the basis of ownership, it may be the public sector project, It's a government owned project, or it may be the private sector project which is done by some private company, or it may be the joint venture, whether the involvement of public and private both are there, whether the government is also there and some private company is also involved. So classification of project on the basis of sector, classification of project on the basis of ownership, again classification of project on the basis of risk involved. Some projects are very highly risky, you are uncertain about their success, but those projects who are highly risky, their chances of getting high profit is also involved. Like something which is very new to the world and you have invented, now you are going to take a risk to develop that thing. So developing of this particular, doing the research on that one, developing on that particular product, expending your money, expending your time, that may be the high risk project because nobody has done before. So sometimes some project which is done for the first time, by keeping in mind that if you are going to be successful, you are going to get a high reward. This type of project is known as high risk project, where the high reward is also involved. Normal risk project, we know this type of uncertainty will come, this type of risk will come, and we will take the we will take this type of action according to that one. And low risk projects are basically those where the risk is very few, even the reward is also less, and they are some day-to-day project which are very common in the field, which is very common in the nation. They are on the basis of risk. On the basis of economic life of the project, means economic life of the project means how much time it will take to complete the project, or you can say how much time this project is running into the market. Long-term project, some project is taking a huge time to finish it. Economic life of the project, it may be the long-term project, means it is going to for a 20-year, 5 to 20 year long-term project, 2 to 5 year medium-term project, short-term project maybe 0 to 2 year. So on the basis of their economic life, how many times it will go. Economic life means if your product is for a long time, it will take more expenses. So like that one on the economic life of the project. On the basis of employment opportunity, see, there are basically two types of project. One is capital intensive project on the basis of employment, and labor intensive project. Capital intensive projects are those projects which require more capital and less labor, like software industry, where when you are going to develop a software, it may be require more capital to develop a software, to pay the people who is involving in the software, to get a right executive people, right, the experienced people or professional people to develop that particular project, but you don't require more people. So this type of project is called as a capital intensive project, where the less labor required, more capital is required. And labor intensive projects like the construction of a building, where you require more people who has to be work on that particular building, but less capital is required in compared to capital incentive. So where the involved, like construction, manufacturing industry have the labor intensive project, service industry have the capital intensive project. Then on the basis of magnitude of the resources to be invented, means how much resources you are putting. If you have resources like the capital, land, labor, your involvement in that one enterprises, if the involvement is too much and it requires too much involvement or too much resources is required, the size of the resources is increasing. So it depends upon that one. If that is very huge project in terms of time, in terms of resource expenditure, in terms of uses of the resources, so the project can be the giant project, big project, medium-sized project, or the small-sized project. So it depends upon the how much resources you are invested in any particular project. Then on the basis of speed required to execution the project, like normal project, you have the time allotted for a 12 month and you are according to that particular time, like that you are going to finish within 12 months, that is called as a normal project. Crash project, sometimes you want to finish before that particular time because of the certain requirement, because of the demand has been increased, because of the competitor has made something better than you. So you want to finish those projects before the time. Instead of 12 months, you are going to finish in 6 months or even in 4 months or 3 months. So these things, when the requirement of the market is totally changed and you are also going to change the time or the speed of the project, that is called as a crash project. Before the time we have to finish that one. Disaster project, when something unexpected is happened and there is no pre-plan for any project, but you have to launch a project because of some natural disasters like the tsunami, like the earthquake, like the death of the boss. In that case, whatever the next action you are going to take in the form of project, like you suppose some tsunami has been happening in Indonesia, so then next day itself government has started a project of the relief camp. So this is not a pre-planned project, it's a disaster project when something is happening unexpectedly, something is happening naturally, which is not under the control of human being. In that particular case, whatever the project we are going, like a relief camp, like a food supply, like a health camp, these types of project is called as the disaster project. So this is the first part of our chapter number 3. I hope you understand. In these things we have learned the project environment, whether we have seen that the internal environment is there, external environment is there. Internal are under the control of project manager or under the control of organization. Then we have seen some key stakeholder, 6 key stakeholder we have seen, and also we have seen the classification of a project on the different basis. Now we are going to start project identification. This is the second part of this chapter. Project identification is a process to access each project idea and select the project with the highest priority, concerned with collection, compilation and analysis of economic data for the eventual purpose of locating possible opportunity for investment. That is true. Like suppose we have opportunity to start, or we have various opportunities seeing in the market that this project can also has been started, this project can also we can go, this project we can also will be benefited. So when we have the more projects in the market, we will see which project is feasible for us, which project is benefited for us, which project will run for the project is going to benefit you for the more time, for the maximum period of time, which project will cover maximum number of clients, which opportunity is highest. These type of things we are giving the project priority. This project we can start first, we will first, second, third, fourth, like that. So this process is known as project identification. It is not only the identification of a project, means this project I am going to know, even giving the priority of the project, which project has to be started first, then second, then third, like that. That is also comes under the project identification. Under this one, there are some tools, means how you identify a project, on what basis, or what are the different tools are available, what are the different criteria are available. You will say that this project must be started first and this project is more important than another project. So like situational and environmental analysis, SWOT analysis, problem and opportunity study, and the research analysis. These are the few tools. They are not only tools, but these are the few tools which are saying that with the help of these tools we can identify the project which will be benefited more, which will be running for the long time, which will be apply for more clients, which can be used for a more number of time. Like see, we are going to see one by one these tools, like situational and environmental analysis. Situational analysis is also known as market audit. Means we are going to check the market, understand how it relates to the environment in which it operates. Means the project which we are going to accept, the project which we are planning to start, how it relates to the environment in which it operates. Means where it is going to be operate, identify its own strengths and weakness as they relate to external opportunity. Means it is also related with whatever the environmental studies we have done, especially outside, like the customer, like the competitors, government, how it will be affect, how the market is going to accept, what are the opportunity there, where is the problem, how we are going to handle these things, how we are going to manage these things. So these all things are comes under the situational and environmental analysis. Situational means if this is the situation of the current market, what is our strategy to go with this project? If the situation is changed, how we will manage this one. So that is called as the situational analysis. Under situational analysis, we can also have the various factors we are going to see in that particular area, like the actual and potential market size. Means what is the market for whom we are making a project, what is the trend, what are the customers, what are the customer segment, means division of the customer segment, what is the distribution channels. So these are all things when we are studying, when we are reviewing, when we are trying to find out their values or their situation, this comes under the situational analysis. Again, environmental analysis, we know about the environment, we know about the external, internal. Here we will talk about the external, where we will see what are the opportunity available, what are the threats are there, what are the problems are there related with our internal environment. With the help of our internal environment strength and weakness, we are going to get the benefit from the outside, like in terms of opportunity and threats. So in situation, what is the situation of the market, what is the situation of the customer, what is the situation of the country, what is the trend of the market, what will be the next trend. These things when we are seeing, we are talking about the situation. When we are talking about the environmental, so we study situation and environmental analysis. That is one of the tools for identification of project identification. Second tool, like see, environmental variance, these are the internal, they are the external. And again, like the industry environment. Industry environment, this include those elements or groups in the immediate environment of a company that directly affect the corporation in terms of the, like if you remember, in industry environment there is a gentleman with the name of Michael Porter. He has given a 5-force model. He's saying that these are the 5 forces. Also we can put these things under the external environment, micro environment, and these are the 5 are there. Intensity of the rivalry means competitors, power of the customer, sometimes we are also saying the bargaining power of a customer, bargaining power of the supplier, threats of market entry, threats from substitute. So these are the 5 forces model. When we are analyzing the industry, when we are seeing the environment, the industry environment, we have to take care of these 5 things. Means who are our competitors, intensity of the rivalry, competitors, how much strong they are, what is their product is, where our product will going to compete with their products or not. Like the Pepsi and Coke are the real competitors, like this way. Power of the customer. Are we unique? Are we the monopoly in the market? Is my project is going to be cover the maximum number of customer? So power of customer depend if the same project has been done by many companies or same product is provided by many companies. In that particular case, power of the customer will increase because they have the more option to adopt. So power of the customer is also there. You have to compare your project with your competitor's project. You have to see what are the other things are available for a customer. So in this case, your project compared to your project where the power of the customer is increasing or decreasing. Power of the supplier, who is providing the raw materials. If only one supplier is there who is known as the very best supplier, and there are many projects company to whom he is providing the raw material, in that particular case power of the supplier is increased. But suppose if there are many suppliers, so being a project manager, being a project organization, I have the more option. So number of supplier is increasing, the power of the supplier is decreasing, or the bargaining power of supplier is depend upon how many suppliers are there, how many suppliers are. If number of suppliers are more, the bargaining power of the companies are increasing, or bargaining power of a project managers is increasing, or the reverse. Threats from substitutes. Substitutes are basically those products which are the next alternative of the product. Like suppose if we are planning to make it or planning to start a farming for the coffee. So what will be our substitute? Tea. So whoever is the next, what is the alternative for the, or substitute, or the next alternative for the Coke or Pepsi? When the cold drinks are not available, your substitutes can be the water, substitute can be the hot, what you call as the lassi, substitute can be the like energy drink. So these are the substitute, they are the next alternative. So we have to take care of also what are the substitute available if these things are not there. What is the substitute for laptop? Desktop is the substitute, mobile is the substitute. They are not the same product, but they are performing some of the tasks. Threats of the market entry, what are the new company or new project company are coming to the market, may not be their threat for today, they may be the potential competitors of the tomorrow. So what is our strategy for them? Whether we have to give some work to them, where we have to shake hand with them, or whether we have to buy them, or whether we have to give some threat to them. How to control the new entries so that there is no changes in our project or process. So this is the Porter 5 force model, which comes under the industry environment. Then our second tool, first tool is our situational environment analysis, second tool is our SWOT analysis. Under SWOT analysis, you know very well, the SWOT analysis is all about the strength, weakness, opportunity and threats. Strength and weakness is our internal things, and with the help of strength and weakness, we are going to find out our opportunity and threats. As our strength is increasing, our opportunity outside them or externally increase. As our weakness is increasing, our threats are increasing. So what to do is, we have to work on our strength to increase the strength, to get more opportunity, decrease the weaknesses, to decrease the threats. So this is the basic meaning of SWOT mastery. I hope you understand this thing since your first class or since your first semester. So this SWOT analysis is also one of the tools for creating use of SWOT. How can we use each strength? Where we can use our strength? How can we stop each weaknesses? We cannot stop, basically we can reduce the thing. And finally we are trying to, how can we use each opportunity with the help of strength? How can we defend against each threat? And third thing is, third tools can be the problem and opportunity study. Means what are the problem in the market and what can be the opportunities there. Like suppose, let me give you 3 or 4 problems. Like suppose problem is there that there is a problem of what you can say as the health. Means suppose there is a problem of health, or there is a problem of health facility. This is a problem. So what is the opportunity? Being an organization, you may start a project of a hospital building or a nursing home. So that can be the opportunity. Problem and opportunity studies like this. It can be the social cultural problem. It can be the economical, natural, political. Let me give you another 2 or 3 examples. Like suppose there is a problem of good higher education institution. So what can be the opportunity? You may start a degree college, you may start a diploma college, you may start a training college. So where you can find a opportunity of that one. So identifying a problem of the market, identifying a problem of the market and giving the alternative solution for that one, that will be there. Also the tools for project identification. So problem and opportunity studies like this. Identifying opportunity and threats in the environment, that is the part of something. And finally, on the basis of resource analysis, we have seen the 4 tools. First, till now we have seen the 3 tools, like the resource and environmental study. Then second one is the SWOT analysis. Third one is the problem and opportunity. And now fourth one is the resource analysis. Resource analysis are basically those things where the strength and weakness are identified, indicate what the firm is capable of doing at the start of the business. Here basically there is a theory which is saying as the resource based view theory. According to this theory, 4 broad categories are there, like being a competitive company in the market. You have to see these 4 things: tangible assets, what is your tangible assets, what is your intangible assets, what is your capability and what is your core competency. So when we are analyzing these things, we are called as a resource analysis. On the analyzing of these things, we are going to take a project. So this is called as a resource analysis. On the analysis of environment or on the auditing of situation, we are identifying a project that is known as situation and environmental study. When we are analyzing and identifying a project on the basis of SWOT analysis, that is another factors. When we are analyzing on the basis of problem available in the market, then opportunity is there, problem and opportunity. And finally, when we are seeing what is our resources, like tangible assets, all the physical goods, all the property of the organization, all the available products are tangible assets which belong to the company. Intangible assets like the intellectual property, like the brand value of the market, brand value in the market. Like if you see here, tangible assets, physical factors that directly aid into the delivery of customer value can usually be found on financial statement. It may be the building of the company, it may be the product which is available into the market. Every physical item which belongs to the company is the tangible assets. Intangible assets, you cannot give them the physical form, but because of them, company like brand name of the company, customer goodwill, corporate reputation, copyright, patent. So these all things are comes under the intangible assets. So what is the tangible assets of a company? Resource analysis. What is the intangible assets of the company? Resource analysis. Then further move, organization capability, means with the help of tangible assets and intangible assets, what actually you are producing. If you are a mobile company, what is your capability? What is your capacity to produce the product? How many products you can produce in a day with the help of your tangible assets and with the help of your intangible assets. That is known as organization capability. Process and activities that transform tangible and intangible assets into a goods and services. What actually you are producing, how much you are producing, what is your capacity in the market. And finally, core competency. Basically, core competency is one thing which is known as USP. What is the things which differ you from your competitors? Why company or customer is going to buy your product? What is the unique things in you? It may be the one unique things, it may be more than one unique things. Like if some product is low in price, that can be the USP for that particular product. If some product is look wise unique, that can be the core competency for that particular product. What is the USP of Apple? It can be the brand. So that can be the core competency, why a company is going to sell its product by differentiating it from your competitors. So these are the 4 resource analysis: tangible assets, intangible assets, organization capability, and core competency. On the basis of these things, company are doing. So I hope you understand these all things. In this chapter, we have learned 3 main things, or rather 2 main things. One is the environmental study, project environment, and second one is the project identification or identification of project. See, in the environment, we have seen the internal environment, external environment, what can be controllable, what is not controllable. Further, we have seen that some key stakeholder like the project manager, client, core or company, parent company. Then we have moved to the identification, project identification. Under this we have that 4 tools. First tool is the situational and environmental. Second tool is the SWOT analysis. Third one is the problem and opportunity in the market, and fourth one is the resource analysis, which is your internal things. I hope you are going to see this video, and if there is any confusion, any clarification, any doubt, or anything which you are not able to catch up, we will going to discuss those things into the class. So what I am requesting you, please view this video first before coming to the class, so that we have the some question or query will be there which we can handle easily. And again, we are going to repeat these things in the class, but with more examples of that one. Till then, take care. Good day.